right? But Joe, have you ever thought like, which one of his 10 kids? I mean, who's he gonna leave behind? Like to do
if
that.
he goes to Mars?
I think he's like he wants to go to Mars. He said he wants to die on Mars.
You have to watch this video about Elon Musk's mission to conquer Mars.
So I know you've thought. So you have this piece of Mars, right? So he's trying to get to Mars now, right? But Joe, have you ever thought like, which one of his 10 kids? I mean, who's he gonna leave behind? Like to do
if
that.
he goes to Mars?
I think he's like he wants to go to Mars. He said he wants to die on Mars.
By the time he is able to do this, they'll probably be fully grown adults. Maybe they can go visit him.
They go come with him.
Apparently, the idea is to be able to come back. Just like, okay. I saw The Martian. Did you like that?
Yeah, I love The Martian. Andy Weir is a UCSD. He didn't graduate from UCSD, but he wrote it. But
I mean, it is possible that one day we will have the technology to colonize other planets, right?
Do we have the reason to do it, Joe?
What is the reason? Like,
this is what
isn't sometimes the reason just to be able to do it, or maybe to ensure that human race survives if there's some sort of a natural disaster on Earth.
Do you know what Nixon wrote on the plaque that went to the moon on Apollo 11?
No, what?
It said, we came in peace for all mankind. It's bullshit, right? It was a war against the Soviets. It was part of the Cold War. It was a war of propaganda. And it was important. It did a lot for science. Guess what? We haven't been back to the moon in 50 years, right? So if it was so important for peace and for technology, why haven't we been back, okay? So to say what we did, it's the Edmund Hillary thing, climb Everest because it's there, right? Mm-hmm. But Elon has said the following. He has said, I want to go to Mars so that humankind becomes interplanetary. Then you ask, I love to keep asking why questions, right? Because they're so annoying. Like your kids keep asking you why. You know what the ultimate answer is? Because I freaking said so. Go to sleep, right? So with him, I would keep asking why. Why do you want to send people to Mars? Why should humankind be interplanetary? Mm-hmm. So that the flame of consciousness never gets extinguished. Why? Why can't you go into the ocean? Why can't you build bubble cities? Why can't you build floating cloud cities?
Well, the Earth gets destroyed.
Okay, but why?
Why what?
Why
continue with humanity?
Not just humans. And he's talking about human consciousness, which could also mean like AI stuff or whatever. Like, but here's my bigger point. You had Ryan Holiday on recently. He's got these memento mori coins, right? Memento mori means remember you're going to die. Allegedly, Roman emperors would have some courtesan walking next to them, so they wouldn't have too much hubris. They would say, "Remember, you're mortal. You're going to die." That was done to motivate them to suck the marrow out of life while you're alive, right? Mm-hmm. So my question at some level is, well, is that true only of individuals? Or like, could it be true of a civilization as a whole? Could it be true that like, hey, wait, we shouldn't be dedicating all this effort? And I think it's, I wouldn't say it's as unlikely as life, having iPhones on Proxima Centauri B, but I'd say it's pretty unlikely that we're going to do that in the next 100 years to have colonized Mars. It's incredibly difficult from a technological standpoint, from a biological standpoint, a psychological standpoint, the raw material. There's a tremendous number of reasons that it's
but
not
if
possible.
Technology progresses the way it has since 1800, the way, it's the world's unrecognizable. You could conceivably say that if it continues in the same direction and we don't blow ourselves up, we may very well have the ability to do something like that.
So and
if you say why, well, why not?
Well, why not is always a good
it's
answer.
Fascinating,
right?
Because it's interesting, because people want to do it, because it would be significant to have human life living on a terraformed Mars.
To put it on our resume.
Maybe we could use Mars as like a test to like how to recharge an atmosphere if we fuck it up.
Right, but isn't it better just not to fuck it up?
Yeah, it is not. It is better not to fuck it up, but it's also interesting. Like, why go to the moon? Why send satellites up there? Why look at stars?
It's part
why
of
all those things? It's part of this human desire to constantly innovate and move forward.
But I question the Moore's law kind of compatibility. And actually, you talked about this with Michio Kaku, and he was in his new book about quantum supremacy, which is this kind of faith in these exponential curves. And exponential curves are really tricky mofos because, they sneak up on you for a long time, like, and they go like this, right? Well, one of the things that they do after they do this is they do this. They come down, right? You've heard of peak oil and stuff like that.
Right.
There's only a finite amount of oil because there's only a finite amount of pre-carbonous fossil fuels, et cetera. Right? But it's worse than that. As we get more and more kind of technologically capable, we get better and better at keeping the Ponzi scheme going, in a sense. Like the ore grade of gold used to be like in California, 1849, right? They would stumble upon a huge brick rock of gold. That never happens anymore. The amount of gold per ton is like a gram per ton. It's incredibly small, and it's going down. All these things are going down. They're all these diminishing S-curves, they call them. They start off really high, and so you get the go-go 90, and then it drops off to zero. There's no saying that might not also happen for both extraction of resources that you need to build a colony on Mars, fuel, rocket parts, etc., but also for the coming AI and computing revolution. In other words, Moore's law is saturating for a very interesting reason. It's not that the speed of the computers is still doubling, but the amount do you care about the speed of your computer? No, you care about what I can do with it, right? How fast does the web page load up, right? Well, so you can have the fastest computer, but it's loading really slowly because there's so many other people that want to take advantage and use that same resource. It's a very highly in demand resource. Well, that will happen with quantum computing too. It's already happening with classical supercomputers. In other words, their speed is going up, but the number of floating point operations they do is saturating because so many people want to use them because they're so good. They're a victim of their own success in a certain sense. Same thing could happen with mineral. So the question is, do we get there? And if not, well, what would that mean? Would we have like a civilization existential crisis? I don't know. I really don't know.
But even all the things you just stated, isn't that just within our technological limitations as of today? And our understanding of how to put together computers, our understanding of what technology can consist of in terms of minerals, in terms of like stable materials?
Yes and no. I mean, but like I said, there's only so much carbon in the Earth. There's only so many pre-biologic fossils.
But can it be recycled? Can we find new ways to use it? Can't we figure out a way to...
Sure. Yeah, we can. Yeah. But the question is, these different things have to overlap.